Welcome to another video from Gweilo 60. Yesterday we put out a video that said we're going back to Canada, then going to China. And then the Canadian government stepped in and said, everybody from around the world that's Canadian, you have to come back to Canada right now. And being an avid traveler, my spidey senses started to tingle, by Jesus. And we thought, why would they do that? Well, the air carriers around the world are going to get shut down. That's my prediction. They said they're going to have a special federal news bulletin in Canada about this. And we're not quite sure when it is because Thai time is different, China time is different than Canadian time. So we're a little bit skeptical. So what we did is we talked to Dr. Robert. Let's walk and talk about this, okay? Okay. We talked to Dr. Robert in Wuhan. We sort of quizzed him. He said, well, this is our situation. Weifang's got to go back to Canada for a CT scan, an ultrasound, a bone scan, pick up tamoxifen pills, all of these different things. And this is why we're going back to Canada. I said, can this be done in China? He says, yeah, no problem. We can do that. And he actually offered for us to come up to Chongqing when he gets back from Wuhan, and he'll deal with it personally. I trust the doctor, so that's a good thing. I says, but what about the tamoxifen pills? He says, well, you can get tamoxifen that's made in China, or you can get tamoxifen that's made in any other country around the world. So they import it. Problem solved. So we booked a flight on March 21st, as everybody knows that watched my last video, or our last video now, because the boss was in there too. Did you hear it when she said she used the F word on me? Yeah, I know. I get no respect. Anyway, I digress. So did ya? You're a bad girl. I'll spank her later. But so the thing is that we had this booked, and then we had second thoughts. They're not taking it seriously, and we see all of these new cases of this CV virus starting in Canada and the United States. We're talking to Dr. Robert in China. They're just about out of that. So first in, first out in China? Yeah, okay. So we've been taking our time and staying away from this virus as much as we possibly can by leaving Nanning. Running around. Yeah, running around like a couple of teenagers around the Eastern world. But the thing is that we've done this to stay away from this thing because of Weifang's immune system, and we're not sure whether it would hurt her or not. She's still young. Well, that's up here. But we don't want to take any chances. So going back to Canada as the virus is growing there would sort of be like
jumping into the hole,
or the belly of the beast, you know what I mean? So we really don't want to do that. We booked a flight, cost us, I don't know what, 1200 bucks Canadian?
Around there.
Yeah. So now we're in negotiations with our air carrier whether, do you think they'll give you a refund?
No idea.
No, I don't think so. You dream it in Technicolor. Okay, but maybe they'll give you credit.
Maybe.
For it, maybe. Okay, so we can use this credit at a different time. Okay, well, and if they don't go with that, then we'll say, can you postpone our trip and see what happens there? Well, yeah, we're having a tough time with this, but whatever. It is the way it is. Oh, hey, did you watch CB Media's thing about the boat with the big guns on the back? That's the same boat. Yes, we're walking down the same path, and this is a path that I was looking for with Michaela Ponte when we were doing that video, and we couldn't find it. But after watching Chad's CB Media video, we actually knew where to go. So
no,
thanks,
it's me.
Oh, yeah, she's so good at this. Anyway, just a second. I'll be right back. So we got to thinking, and after talking to the doctor and all this other stuff, we got to thinking about what would be the best thing for us. And you got to understand, you've got two people here that are retired, And it doesn't matter where we are anywhere in the world, we are where we are. So it really doesn't make a difference both mentally and financially. You know, so if we don't have to go to a place where we might run into problems, we're not going to, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty distinct. Yes. A girl of few words. So we've decided we're not going back to Canada. Yeah. Informed Miranda, my daughter, here before we came out to do this video, and my brother, he worries about just about everything. And he says, get back to Canada as soon as you can. He got his wife to send me a message because he sucks when it comes to social media stuff. And so I said, yeah, we're coming back on the 21st. He said, oh, great, it'll be nice to see you. And then I had to text him here, like not even 12 hours later, not even 8 hours later, that no, we've changed our mind. See, we change our minds on travel as quickly as we change our gitch. It's the truth. So the idea that China's just about done this and Canada's just getting into it, there's just no way I'm going back to Canada. I don't think it's the right decision.
How many days you change patties?
Oh, she calls my gitch patties. Oh, and Michaela Ponte. Alex calls them Ponte because it's easier than saying Michaela. And Weifang, because she looks at everything in a Chinese way, she thinks it sounds like panty. So now she calls Michaela Panty. I don't know. Sorry, Michaela. It's a Chinese version of your name. Oh my God. So it's not one of these things that can be left to later. When talking to the doctor, he was under the impression that if we didn't move now, things are going to get dicey because the Chinese are starting to look at the world differently. That's a beer game. Anyway, the Chinese are starting to look at the world a little bit differently. Back a month ago, everybody was shutting down Chinese people, but now China's looking at it and saying, well, we're just about done this, and most of the cases that we're coming across now are foreigners or people, not just foreigners, but Chinese people that have been abroad, coming back to China, and that's where the problem lies. So how long will the Chinese government allow foreigners to come into the country? They might shut it down. And the good
Maybe.
doctor was saying that, like,
That's
so
one thing I worry about it.
well, if you're gonna get stuck in a country, like if we go back to Canada, chances are sooner or later they're gonna just shut everything down, and then you're stuck in Canada. How boring is that? So
It's not boring, that kind of mean. It's dangerous for both of you and me. The important side is not enough hospital and the doctors,
that's another
nurse,
thing.
and
See,
to take care of that thing for everybody.
yeah, exactly. When we're sitting in Nanaimo, and Vancouver Island's turned into sort of a retirement community, and you go to the Nanaimo hospital, even at the good times when there's no epidemic or anything going on, the Nanaimo hospital has people in the rooms and in the hallways on beds because they just don't have enough room for everybody. So if we go back to Canada and Weifang's going for tests and all this other stuff, I think if they have a little epidemic going on, they won't have time for her anyways. So it seems like a fruitless type of endeavor for us to fly all the way to Canada and then sit there and wait for the medical system to sort of catch up. The doctors and nurses in Canada are some of the world's best, but they don't have the infrastructure, and that's back to the government not doing their job, not dealing with things properly. And it's an ongoing problem all over Canada. We've got good people there, we've got people that do the job excellent, the doctors and nurses, medical staff, administration, everything. But then you got government that says, you don't need a bigger hospital until something like this happens, and then maybe you do. You know what I mean? So we don't want to get stuck in there. If we want to get stuck in a country, I think the country that we want to get stuck in is China.
For this moment.
Yeah, because they've dealt with it. Everybody that's watched any of my videos has seen that they've dealt with it in such a good way that it makes us feel safe, comfortable. sure, we left China thinking, oh, this is not a good thing. I think that was I would think it was a mistake up until the idea that we came to Thailand and we met so many good people that, holy smokes, if we didn't come to Thailand, we wouldn't have met Alex and Yulia. We wouldn't have met Chad from CB Media, Michela Ponte from Italy, Tim Kay from California, and no, Tim, you're not a clown, or the Philippines, whichever one you want to say. You know, Tino, Tino. We'll just call him Tino from Switzerland. You know, so the idea that we came to Thailand instead of going back to Canada is probably a good thing in my mind. But I don't know, going back to Canada now would be a major mistake. I think that it wouldn't be as safe, it wouldn't be as good, not only for me, but for my wife. And so we're not going to do that. We're going back to China, guys. So probably within the next couple of videos that I put out, it's going to be on the ground in Nanning, China once again. I might be quarantined. Your ass might be quarantined too. But we can always look out the window and dream about being on the streets of Nanning on my e-bike again.
That's okay.
With a bottle of brandy in my hand.
That's okay. Yeah. I think the proper thing is to do is have to quarantine yourself for 14 days. That's good for everybody.
Well, then there's nothing else to do but play with my wife.
Hey.
Oh, see that? See what I gotta put up with? Oh, yo. So, and that's another video from Gweilo 60. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the bell. Don't forget to resubscribe, because YouTube's got a hate on for me, as you all know. And make a comment. Comments are good. They help our algorithm. Make sure that you subscribe, because if you don't subscribe, 60% of everybody that watches these videos are not subscribers. So it just makes it so much better, hey?
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Oh, and one last thing. Never forget to put a couple of bucks on the Children's Patreon account. It's for poor, rural Chinese children. They just need a helping hand, guys. Dig down, get a heart, help them out, help me help them out. And thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.
That's it? That's all you're gonna say?
What do you want me to say?
Gweilo 60 is a hottie.
No.
What do you mean, no?
Yeah, don't waste your power.
Oh, look at dog shit.
I know.
Look at fucking drink.
I already